Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.
Boxing King Media here with Mr. Spencer Fearon, the knowledge all the way from Riyadh to where are you at, Spence? If you want to tell us where you're at, looks like a nice spot.
It's behind my house. I'm in Pearly.
Is that your back garden?
I wish it was my back.
And that's your house in the background, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah. Good stuff. How are you, man? The sun's shining, you're looking well, you look like you've lost weight.
I have. You know what? I have lost weight, and I've been back in the gym working with certain people. Not going to say anything until it all comes out. So yes, it's good. It's good for me.
You can't drop something like that. I'm working with some people until it comes out. I just clarify, when you say working with some people, is that you training people or you training to fight or what?
Why would I be trained to
I
fight?
don't know. We live in a mad world.
Yeah, we actually do live in a mad world. But no, I'm just doing bits as technical enhancement on certain fighters. So you know what I mean, and that's good. So when
Okay.
it comes out, it comes out. You'll be the first to hear. Don't worry.
I'll look forward to it. So let's start with the show this week. Obviously, we've got a great event here in Saudi, and there's a couple of fights I want to talk to you about. We'll do some quick breakdowns on them. The first one I want to talk to you about is Nick Ball against Sam Goodman, undefeated Australian. Nick, amazing guy. Got to speak to him the other day, and it blew my mind how the way he comes across in the ring, where he's straight up killer basically in the ring. Outside the ring, he's like telling me that what gives him the biggest buzz is his mum telling him that you made me proud.
I saw you put that up on your story, and what is there not to like about Nick Ball? You know what I mean? He's the epitome of WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And he wears his heart on the sleeve, and he's. I think it was Barry Jones. Barry Jones said something. Was it Barry Jones? No, tell a lie. It wasn't Barry Jones. It was actually Darren Barker, and Darren Barker was saying like he's very much like a computer game, like Odd Job in GoldenEye, which everybody used to play on Nintendo. And because he's so short, squat, but he uses the things that we'd see as a disadvantage as an advantage, and it's very very true. That's how Nick Ball fights. He fights at a high pace, but he's very economical. He's a very very fit human being, and people think it's smash bang wallet, but it's not. There's a lot of technical prowess to what he does. He's a very very good fighter, and for your old school guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Ball watches a lot of Henry Armstrong, who was the only man in history to hold a world title at 3 different weights simultaneously, and should have held a fourth as well because he went up to middleweight and he beat Zeferano, but he never got the decision. They gave it a draw. But anyway, I want to bore you guys. But that's who he reminds me of. He's like a new age Henry Armstrong. That's how he fights.
Nice. And let's see if he can do that with the weights. But Sam Goodman's in front of him this weekend, a good technical boxer, undefeated, and he's bringing the Australian sandstorm in his way. What do you think? You give him a chance?
It's kind of good. It's the ashes of boxing what we're getting in that fight. And I just think the applied pressure of what Nick Balls brings to the table is going to be too much for Sam. That's how I see it. There's no disrespect to Sam. He is a guy. I watched a couple of his fights. He's neat. He's highly skilled. Not just skilled, he's highly skilled. But I just think that applied pressure that Nick comes with is going to be very, very hard to be deterred by anybody. And I don't think that Sam is as skilled or as talented as Raymond Ford. And we saw there was a tight fight, but he got the decision. He got the decision simply because of his applied pressure.
Okay. What happens? Points, knockout?
I think 11th round stoppage.
Okay.
Between 9 and 11th round stoppage. That's what I believe in favor of Mr. Ball.
Okay, the other fight I want to speak to you about, David Adeleye, Filip Hrgovic. I think pretty much every single person I've spoken to is saying Hrgovic either beats him or stops him. But they are saying it's a close fight. But most people's opinions off camera, they've said to me that Adeleye doesn't do enough to impose himself on Hrgovic based on what he's done in the past. But I've been around his team this week. He looks in incredible shape and he seems very confident. So what do you think? And we've got to also point out, and I said this to a lot of people, Filip Hrgovic took a lot of shots of Joe Joyce, who people are saying is slow, but he landed a lot of punches on Filip Hrgovic. So laying it out there for you, Spence, break it down.
No, I think it's more to do with the fact that when people are speaking about the shots that Hrgovic took against Joe Joyce, Joe Joyce is slow, but Joe Joyce is very well timed, right? He's very well timed. He's calculated with his punches. Like he knows, like I'm gonna throw a shot at 1 o'clock, and it's gonna hit you at 7:30, right? But I know where you're going to be positioned at the time at 7:30 comes, and that's Joe Joyce's style of fighting, and it's been effective. As a man that went to the Olympics, and you know, what I mean, arguably could have been a gold medalist at the Olympics as well. So we can't really take nothing away from what young Joe Joyce is bringing to the table when he was fighting. But when you're looking at somebody like Filip Hrgovic, when he was on that trajectory, man, everybody was saying like, you know what, this guy is gonna do some things, and everybody was avoiding him. I remember when there was fights that were made for certain people and they would turn it down. Michael Hunter was one of them that turned it down. I know this as facts, right? They didn't want to go nowhere near him. And you know, it goes, as soon as you get an L on your record, then that's when everyone's rushing to go get all of you. You know, so all the credit in the world should also be given to Daniel Dubois when he stepped in there and performed how he did and came out victorious.
Okay.
But this fight here, it's going to be very difficult to not choose Filip Hrgovic to win, yeah? But I'm going to be real with you, yeah? This is all about training camps, right? And who's training Hrgovic right now?
Abel Sanchez.
Abel Sanchez, right? Abel Sanchez used to train the great Terry Norris, right? Who was a former unified light middleweight champion or junior middleweight world champion, right? And he trains these fighters to be aggressive. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I believe that, the reason why I think David Adeleye could pull this off is because he has to study boxing. He has to listen to the analogies that great men give. George Foreman always says, never follow a puncher. Filip Hrgovic is actually going to go to David Adeleye. And one thing for certain, what David Adeleye can do, he can hit, right? You don't believe me? Ask Barry Smith. I remember Barry Smith, the trainer of Jamie TKV, said, one thing you don't want to do is get one on the chin from David Adeleye, because he can punch. And I'm trying to say to you is like, David Adeleye has to be commended for his heart that he's shown. He's got a lot of ball. And sometimes he speaks and people will see him, it's like he's in a deluded fashion. But it's if you sit down and speak, he actually believes the shit that he says. So because of that, coupled with that, and then the real thing is this. I don't think there's many men in the world, especially in the UK, that can train heavyweight fighters, right? And I believe that him being with Adam Booth is going to be the catalyst why he can come out victorious, right? I don't rate anything of that Adam Booth does, but when it comes to training heavyweight fighters, right? And guys with quick twitch muscle fiber that somebody like David Adeleye possesses, I think this could be the telling factor why he could come out victorious in this fight.
What happens?
Otherwise, Filip Hrgovic wears him down. But Filip Hrgovic is not a concussive puncher. He's a work rate man. And because he's going to bring it to him, I can see maybe David coming out victorious. And I'm not saying that because I know David. I'm saying that because that's what I believe. I think Adam Booth ain't foolish. Adam Booth ain't going to say, oh, let's take this because it's the money and da-da-da. Adam Booth is very, very calculated individual. And I think this is going to be a calculated gamble on their side that possibly could come out successful.
And how does he do it? Points, knockout?
I would say because he's the younger man and he's actually fresher, you got to see when David came up second best, when he came up against Fabio Wardley, the problem that he had with Fabio Wardley, because Fabio Wardley was thinking to say, like, I'm not going to engage, and now I am going to engage. I'm not going to engage, I'm going to box, and now I am going to. I don't think Filip Hrgovic is going to take that kind of fight. I think Filip Hrgovic is going to think, look, you're a kid to me. I'm just gonna stick it on you.
Okay. So what you saying? Late knockout?
Uh, no, I think it's gonna go points, and I think um David is gonna nick it on points. And it's gonna be close. And it's gonna be very controversial.
Okay, let's see what happens there. Main event. Let's talk about the main event. A lot of this build up, but everyone's talked about, the whole. I'm going to call it BS now because it's only fair to call it BS. Anyone that was saying Dillian White's taking this for the money is absolutely nuts because you've just got to see. I've just seen him having breakfast topless. The shape he's in is crazy, and you don't invest that kind of money in yourself and train day in day out 3 4 times a day if you're just rocking up to collect the money and go. He's coming here because he thinks he can win, and he's that's what he's looking to do. So I think it's worth mentioning the shape Dillian White's in. What do you think, Spence? And if that will make a telling factor in how this fight goes?
Um, I see this fight in two ways. Yeah, Moses Palmer is meant to go and bash Dillian White. He's meant to walk through Dillian White, and then he's meant to live up to the expectations what everybody's saying that Moses Palmer is going to be. He's excellent. You've heard me say it on many times that he's excellent. You think I'm going to change me saying that he's excellent because he's going up with Dillian White? And I'm very close with Dillian White. Very close. I've known Dillian White before he even turned professional, before he even had his first amateur fight. He came down to my gymnasium of the Real Fight Club where he got started off. I know Dillian very well. I know his family very well. His mother, his beloved, his beautiful mother. Alhamdulillah. Check this one out. Dillian White's not taking this fight for the money. Dillian White's taking this because he knows that he relishes a challenge, right? And because he relishes a challenge, the real big fights, he ain't won. He never won against Joshua. He didn't win against Tyson Fury, right? The real big fight. So we say, what are you talking about? Because he got a win over Joseph Parker. That is a fantastic win when you look back now at what he did the night when he beat Joseph Parker. It's a fantastic. I see this fight as this. This is potentiality versus actuality, right? And potentially, Moses Itauma is going to be that guy. And you saw the thing that I just put out on my Instagram. This potentially could be, what was it? September of 2004, David Haye when he fought Carl Thompson, right? David Haye's hype train was ridiculous, and it was a justified hype train. David Haye was knocking out heads, right? David Haye was this, and he did because he went out to fill his potential. But maybe, just maybe, right, you put some guys in too early where they believe that it's a calculated gamble. We know the best shot that Dillian White throws is actually the left hook. Now, everybody would turn around and say, oh, well, it's got to be when you're fighting with southpaws, it's the right hand. It's not. It's actually the left hook. You don't believe me? Go and watch Bernard Hopkins when he fought Antonio Tarver.
Closest punch.
Please, I beg. Just go.
The closest shot to a southpaw, yeah. The left hook.
Yep, it's the closest shot. And Dillian White holds the best left hook in the heavyweight division at this moment, right? He has a horrid left hook. He does. He really does. You don't believe me? Ask Joseph Parker. He has. And definitely ask Lucas Brown. Dillian White has a horrible left hook. If Dillian White can smother for the first few rounds, right, and punch with Moses Itauma, Dillian White could potentially cause an upset. But for the true heads, take away the hype of Moses Itauma because there's a lot of hype behind him, yeah? I've even been on that hype train. But I'm going to be real. In a fight like this, potentially Dillian White could knock him out. It's simply because when you're dealing with actuality, what has Moses Itauma done to prepare for Dillian White? He hasn't done anything. Reason being, Dillian White, we're looking at the Tete fight and thinking, Dillian White was terrible in that. Of course he was. He's been off for how long? He was fat and out of shape. And you know what I mean? And I thought he was going to do it.
But isn't it fair to say Moses has just beaten whoever's stood in his way?
Of course it has. But I'm still, regardless that he's beaten whoever, it's still a massive jump. Because a massive jump in the pressure that you're going to go through when you're in the change room. It's a massive jump to little doubts that are coming through your head. It's a massive jump when you're going to think like, right, you're going to be in with someone who's probably going to go and give it to you. You do. I just hope that Moses Itauma realizes that that's what's going to happen. But also that Moses Itauma could go out there and just blow away Dillian White.
He don't strike me as someone, Spence, that feels pressure. The time I've spent around him this week, this kid is just stone cold. And that's for both of them. Even Dillian. Dillian's been stood there just, I don't know if you saw that video the other day, just watching Moses like a shark, and Moses is just so cool and calm. I don't think either guy's nervous, but
Mhm.
that's the
Yeah.
vibe I've got so far.
You know what? I'm saying this. I think Moses Itauma is fantastic, right? And I'm drawing similarities. Moses Itauma could be the kid just like when Mike Tyson fought James Quick Tillis in '86, then Marvis Frazier in '86. Then at the end of '86, he fights Trevor Burbeck for the world heavyweight title and becomes the youngest man ever to win the title. This could be a scenario. This could be his pattern, or his pattern could be what happens to David Haye when David Haye got beat by Carl Thompson because Carl Thompson took the licks and the bumps and decided to stay there with him. Right? It could be. Right? You have to heavily favor Moses Itauma, heavily favor him in this fight. But I'm just going to flip the page a little piece. And they think, oh, it's because you know Dylan. No, I just believe that Dylan could cause the upset. So I'm going to stay with Dylan causing the upset. You know what I mean? And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm just seeing a different Dylan White, where Dylan White is on it and I know what he's going to bring. And the thing that gives you experience is actually being in that moment over a period of time. Moses Itauma hasn't been in that moment of time yet. He hasn't. And the thing about it is this, why? I'll tell you why it's so dumb as well. Because what happens is this, is like, we buy into the boxing paradigms of what everyone else is saying. So because everyone else is saying something, then it must be true. Right? But then that's not true because boxing is littered with upsets. Littered with them. So if that's the case, then yeah, I know when everyone on hype thing and right. And I really do think that Moses Itauma is fantastic. I do. But I'm not holding back to think, oh, I really think that Dylan White could pull off an upset. And because of that, that's what my prediction, that Dylan White is going to cause an upset. You're not going to say, what are you talking about? I've said it. I believe that Dylan White could cause an upset, especially if he punches with Moses Itauma, right? If he punches with him.
Spencer, there's going to be a lot of people watching this prediction right now. They're going to be screaming at the screen, going, "You're only saying it because he's your mate." And so, why are we changing?
Yeah, hold up, stop.
Why are we
If they're saying that,
changing?
then it's cool. Hold up, listen to me. Listen, Boxing King Media, listen. If people are saying that, then that's cool. Do you know what I mean? That's cool. But I've said what I've said, and people are going to tune in and say Spencer's talking nonsense. But you know what? Let's see what happens in the comment section on Sunday morning.
Call the outcome. Then how does it end?
How does it end? Dylan White after getting battered and bruised and getting floored, yeah. Dylan White being victorious on points. Yeah, I got Dylan White on points.
I don't think many people
Or maybe like.
Okay, I don't think many people have picked points, but well, let's see what happens at some.
Nobody. Hold up.
Lost you for a second.
Nobody doesn't really sit down and study this thing. If Moses Itauma comes through, God bless him, because he's going to come through anyway. He's going to be world champion. But on this particular night here, I'm just leaning towards Dylan White.
Okay. Just want to quickly get your thank you for them predictions. We'll catch up on Sunday morning and see, where you are with all them predictions. Because the last thing I've got to mention to you, and I don't know if you saw the interview I did with DILLIAN WHYTE the other day, and he was quite obviously, a lot of people have always heard bits and bats about his story and how hard he's had it, etc. But he's had it hard, hasn't he? Like, for the stuff he was telling me and stuff I've read about him as well, he was like at the point of starvation. He's having to separate from his mum, and she's had to come and work here, and it's amazing to see the kind of love and respect he has for his mum. And even as a 37-year-old man, the fact that he said he's still looking for a woman that's like his mum, I thought it was quite touching.
Well, if that's the case, then Dylan's going to be single forever. Because his mother, when they made his mother, they broke the mold. I know Dylan, his mother. Every time Dylan has a big fight, it's only because I got commitments with work and children over these 6 weeks holiday, why I'm not in Saudi, right? Dylan White always gives me 2 ringside tickets to sit beside his mother. Dylan's that guy, right? And I'm saying this now, it's like Dylan has had it really, really hard. Really hard. When he was growing up and all the rest of it, he was thrown in. But the graft of what his mother did, and alhamdulillah, his beautiful mother, and she's a Muslim as well. This one's like all the mothers in the world. Like, mothers are sacred, incredible, special creatures. And you know what I mean? And the relationship that Dylan's got with his mom is beautiful. And the mere fact that Dylan provides for his mother now, and he's done good with himself, considering, like, I know the road things that he used to be up to and all the rest of it. So to see where Dillian Whyte has got to now, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And to see that the relationship that he has with his mother, even more beautiful.
What did you?
Let me just add this. No, in fact, say what you're gonna say.
No, you finish it.
Right. But when we're thinking about mothers right now, there's a world crisis that's going on in a place called Palestine. So I'm thinking about all of the mothers over there. And I was fortunate enough to go there last year with the Al Medina 313 charity to go and do work, right? I'm just keeping this thing 100. You know what I mean? When you think of mothers, what do you think the mothers out there right now are going through, seeing their children being starved to death? That's what I'm on, right? So this one goes out to all the moms, because, like, you know me saying this to you right now, I'm getting kind of emotional, right? So those things, as far as I'm concerned, is so important. You know what I mean? Dylan White's done really good for himself. You know what I mean? He's done really well. But not only am I just talking about the mothers in Gaza, I'm talking about the mothers in Yemen. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the mothers in Congo, because there's some bullshit that's going out there as well. You know what I mean? And I end this lastly. Let's cut out this nonsense between, like, it's a religious-based thing against religion. It's got nothing to do with religion. You know what I mean? Because you get good and bad in all people. You know what I mean? But systems are systems, right? And if we don't stand up for what is just and what is right, it's disgusting. I might say this to you lastly. DJ Khaled, you should be ashamed of yourself. Peace, two fingers, I'm out, my bro. Love.
Respect isn't given, it's earned in blood.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.